Hey guys, welcome to Miss Daly's Watercolor 101 Setup and Cleanup. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to attach your paper onto your board, how to clean your brushes, how to store your brushes, and lastly, how to make sure that you keep your paint pans so that they can last you a really long time. So to start with, what I'm going to do, so I always use masking tape. And I've got myself my piece of watercolor paper. I'm using a square piece of paper. What you guys should have in your student packets is a larger sheet of paper, probably about 8 by 10. So most of the time we'll be working 8 by 10, but I just have this square piece of paper in front of me. So if you have a clipboard at home, clipboard is a perfect thing to attach your paper onto. But if you don't have a clipboard, I actually have just a scrap piece of really firm cardboard that I found. A lot of you guys might be getting stuff in the mail and you might be able to find a piece of cardboard. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this masking tape. So I'm using masking tape. I'm not using Scotch tape, I'm using masking tape. And a lot of times my students will want to just do like 4 rolls of tape on the back side of the paper. That doesn't work with watercolors because with watercolors, the paper expands and then shrinks. So what you need to do is you need to kind of really stick your paper to the surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the tape onto all 4 sides of this paper. So see, I've already got it on 2 of the sides, so I just need to do 2 more sides. So right here, got my tape, 3rd side, and then I'm just gonna make sure that I put my tape really tight on that last side. The cool thing about this, and the one thing that I absolutely love when I tape my artwork down, is at the very end, when you peel that tape off very gently, you get this nice crisp white edge, which is really fun. All right, so now I'm gonna talk about brushes. So I learned something really cool this summer about brushes. In order for your brushes not to get ruined, you don't need a lot of water. So what I have here is just a clear, just plastic cup, and I only have about 1 inch of water in it. So that's enough water for my brush to get cleaned. But what I learned this summer is not to actually drown your brush, and make sure that you never have the water above this part of your brush. It's called the ferrule. You wouldn't necessarily know that. This part of the brush is called the belly. But this part right here, the ferrule of the brush, you don't want to get water to get underneath there, because that's how, you know, your brush will separate. So as long as you have enough water, but not too much water, your brush will stay pretty safe. What I also have liked to have over the summer is 2 glasses of water, or 2 cups of water. I have one to wash my brush and get all the paint that was on it off. And then I have my other one, so when I have my brush and it's clean and I just need to add water to make washes, I've got kind of a clean water brush and a water brush to clean my brush. So I kind of have been using 2 different 1-inch containers of water. So other things that you could put water in if you wanted, because you don't need a ton. I have these little solo kind of condiment containers. These work really well. And cat food containers work really well. Applesauce containers, baby food jars, anything that you can put about 1 inch of water and, you know, about 2 inches wide works perfectly as a water cup. So let's talk about brush storage. A lot of times in my classroom, I'll go over to the sink and I see the brush is not looking so fantastic. So what I want to tell you, especially about cleaning your brushes when you're at home or even in my classroom, you want to make sure that you kind of swirl the brush around like a washing machine. Make sure you get all the paint out. Check it with a paper towel. And once your brush is clean, what you want to do is you want to take it and you want to troll style make sure that you get all those bristles up. So we're going to call that hair up. And you want your brush to dry so that it's hair up. So I've got this container here that I'm going to be storing my brushes in, and I'm putting it in just so that the tips of my brushes are out and they're kind of facing the ceiling. So I've got a whole bunch of brushes here, and this is kind of what my container would look like. so I can see that all of my brushes are sort of, those tips are facing the ceiling. So that's going to be the most important thing about that. And when you're rinsing your brush, always rinse it with cold water. The hot water will loosen up the glue and then your ferrule will fall right off. If for some reason during this whole process, this part of your container, your brush comes off, I would recommend hot gluing it back together or taping it with duct tape really well. The last thing I want to go over is watercolor pan, just keeping them nice. So you're gonna get, or you might have at home, a watercolor pan that looks like this, and it has a brush in it. So this brush is a perfect brush for watercolor. So you might have one that has 8 different colors, you might have one that has 16 different colors. Either way, these are going to be perfect for doing any type of watercolor. What I have here, I went and sort of bought one of these online, but you might just have a spray bottle at home that you can use. I learned this summer that the best way for you to kind of just activate your watercolors is to take a little spray bottle and just kind of wet the whole pan with just a couple of spritzes of the water. So this starts to sort of activate that color, and it really kind of allows your colors to get wet, but you're not sort of taking the brush and like jamming it in. And you don't have to sort of get your brush dirty, and when you want to use a color, it'll be ready for you. So those are some really great tips that I learned, and some of those tips I sort of always do in my classroom, and some of them I just learned myself this year. So I figured I would share all of this with you. I love watercolor, can't wait to do more watercolors with you, and I really hope that your stuff that you make is something that you'll love and enjoy. Thanks, bye.